And we are live. What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to another action-packed edition of the Another 71 podcast. As always, I'm your humble host, Jeff Elliott, a licensed CPA in the state of Kansas by the grace of God and to the chagrin of many, and the number is growing daily. Welcome to episode 87. If you have a question for the podcast, you can go to another71.com and click at the top nav, Ask Jeff. Or if you are a member of the dojo, you can hit me up anytime and get a priority response. I'm capitalistic like that. And you can hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram here and there. I'm not as cool as the kids with the Instagram, but I'm working on it. So to start things off, Eric writes in, what are your thoughts on CPA practice exams? Helpful or a waste of time? All right. So let me say this so that I am abundantly clear. CPA practice exams are a gigantic waste of time, and here's why. First of all, the AICPA doesn't grade, so a 75 is not a 75%. Just anecdotally, I think a 75 is kind of like a B plus, A minus, all right? And so there's that. So you score a 75% on your practice exam. What does that tell you? Not much. And so your average practice exam is what? 4 hours. So that's 4 hours of answering questions and getting no feedback. Okay, so you have to go to the end of the practice exam and then see what your answers were and why this one was right and why this one wasn't or whatever. And so how long is that going to take you? An hour to go back through the answers? And so you've just wasted like 5 hours of study time when you could have sat down and knocked out 5 hours of intensive bonds or whatever and in study mode and get the immediate feedback. And I think that you're a lot better off. So if you score 90 on your practice exam, you have probably some false confidence. I hate practice exams. People who recommend that people do practice exams, not a fan of it. So I know some people love practice exams, but again, I think CPA practice exams are a gigantic waste of time, and I hope I am abundantly clear on that. All right. Miglena writes in, and there's a 100% chance that I will butcher some names here. Hold on, let me drink some truck stop water. Okay. Hi, Jeff. I just got back from my BEC exam and I wanted to cry. I felt like I knew the material and understood the questions, but I didn't have enough time for the sims. I need to work on a strategy for next time. Long story short, my original plan was to sit for BEC in late July and then start studying for regulation and then sit for regulation in November. Now I feel like I might have to retake BEC. Since I am a member here, Ninja Monthly member, can I switch now to reg and in September switch back to BEC? Or would you recommend that I keep studying for BEC since I have that feeling about the sims? My original plan was to sit and pass BEC and start taking reg and take reg at the beginning of November, but I'm so bummed now. Okay, so when you take an exam and you feel like you bombed it and you don't know if you should keep studying for that exam or move on, I always recommend that people move on, and here's why. First of all, you're going to possibly spend weeks until you get your scores back, and so you're kind of in limbo for a few weeks. That's a few weeks of lost study time if you just kind of wait. Secondly, even if you score a 74 on BEC, you're not, quote, a point away. You're 75 points away. So when you took your exam, you were exam ready, and now if you walked in and took BEC just off the street, you'd score what? 62? I mean, there is a significant short-term memory component to taking the CPA exam. And so it's really important to start over from scratch. So if you fail, start over from scratch. And that is why people who miss 1 point and go in cram or whatever for a week, then they end up doing worse. And it's because people who cut corners on a retake often do worse. And I highly recommend that people start from scratch. And so in your case, you would need to study for BEC from the very beginning, as awful as that sounds. So in your case, I would jump into regulation full force. And on Facebook Live, Steve says, hello. Hey, Steve. Hey. Okay. Jeremy says, what is the difference between Audit Plus videos and the Audit Hotspot videos? Okay, so Ninja CPA Review, my company, acquired the BISC CPA Review assets from Thomson Reuters in late 2016. And along with that came their entire video library, and they have their BISC CPA Review videos. And I just stuck that in to the Ninja family, and I call it Ninja Plus. It's Ninja Plus, stuff that wasn't Ninja. And then along with that is their entire Hotspot video library. And so if you take all of the Ninja Plus videos, like the former BISC videos, and then all of the BISC hotspots, and I have screenshots of their old website. If you add up all of that stuff, it's like $5,000 worth of stuff. And I just threw it all into Ninja Monthly, and it's $67 a month, pardon the plug. And it's like, sorry, not sorry. And so what's the difference between the two? They are mostly the same. Now, for regulation, Bob Manette does not teach very much of regulation in the Plus videos, if any, but he has several hotspot videos, and people really like Bob Manette. So he is in the Ninja Hotspots, but not in the Plus for regulation. He teaches a lot in the FAR Plus and the FAR Hotspots, Odd Plus, Odd Hotspots, and BEC Plus and BEC Hotspots. So the hotspots they kind of drill down into a topic. They're mostly the same, but I just threw them in there so people can figure out. I mean, they're completely different recordings, but people can figure out if they like them or not. Hello, Dave Reiser. All right. James says, hoping you could answer a question I had for regulation. I'm taking the exam at the end of next month, and notice some of the practice questions for my CPA review course that the gift tax exclusion they referred to is $15,000, which is the 2018 exclusion. I was under the impression that $14K would be the exclusion that's attested in 2017 or 2018. Can you confirm this? Thanks. Okay. So normally this far into 2018, past July, we would be studying the 2018 tax law. But since tax reform came out, the AICPA punted to the beginning of 2019. So at the beginning of 2019, they're going to start testing 2018 tax law. And so really what that means is in 2018, like we are now, from July through December, we will actually be studying 2017 tax law. And I reached out to the AICPA about like inflation adjusted amounts and stuff like that. And what they told me was essentially you will be given all of the relevant information that you need in your question. So not to worry about it. But if your review course has 2018 amounts, you might want to call them up and say, hey, that Ninja guy said you might want to look at it. So tell him I said hi. All right. Jason Leach. Okay, going to the another71.com forum. Oh, yeah, sorry. Corey writes in, hi, Jeff. I'm getting all distracted by people who are my friends in real life actually watching it's like my two worlds are colliding here. Okay. Corey says, hi, Jeff. Is the monthly subscription the only way to purchase the product now, or can we purchase the individual items? So we used to have 8 products and several different price points. And basically what we did was we moved so life is better when life is simple. So we moved from 8 products down to 1. And so basically the $1,300 package is now $67 a month, but it's not a payment plan. You can join 1 month, download stuff, use stuff, and then cancel and be on your way. And so we just wanted to simplify the product line and also simplify the pricing and simplify the buying decision, because it should be a no-brainer. It's like $1,300 worth of materials, $67 a month, and so you can study for FAR 1 month and switch to auditing the next month, whatever. Try to be really flexible. And so essentially for $67, the price, the old standalone price of the Ninja Notes, you get the Ninja Book, Ninja Audio, Ninja MTQ and Sims, the Ninja Flashcards, Ninja Plus videos, and for the price of the Ninja Notes, you get everything. So people seem to really love it. So that's always a good thing. I have been unpopular before. Going to the another71.com forum, and if you need study help, you can always go to the another71.com forum. Since I launched this little thing back in 2009, we've had over 500,000 posts, which is pretty crazy. So you can always go to the search box and you'll likely get an answer to your question. So Annie Atber, I'm terrible with pronouncing foreign names. I'm terrible with pronouncing forum names. I am updating my resume. How do I reflect that, if at all, that my CPA license is in progress? Okay, if you go to LinkedIn, you'll see a lot of people say, like Joe Smith, CPA candidate. That's one way to do it. At the bottom, like under like licenses or whatever, you can say I'm currently studying for the uniform CPA exam. If you have good scores, I would post your scores. If you don't, I just say which sections you have passed. I was in the latter category. And just make it real clear that you're not a CPA. Like don't put Joe Smith, CPA pending. Like it's binary, either one or the other. So yeah, there's no gray area there, or you might get a nasty gram or worse from your state board of accountancy. So that's how I do it. Mature on the forum says, regulation in 15 days, is it possible? I work for a Big Four firm and I'm in my promotion year. I had initially passed 2 parts but lost them and wanted to take them. I've tried to motivate myself back, but my NTS for regulation expires in August, but I'm honestly not ready. I closed out an engagement and started to have time to study. Any tips, tricks, or chapters to focus on? Regulation in 15 days, is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. It's not the best case scenario. I passed auditing, studying for 2 weeks, not because I'm crazy smart, but because I'm crazy lazy sometimes, and I procrastinated. So I did pass auditing for studying in 2 weeks. It can be done. Regulation might be a different kind of beast because tax is tough. For some reason, auditing just really clicks for me, and I don't know why. But I mean, with regulation, you have the tax, like 60% tax, 40% business law and ethics and all that. It is possible. If I were going to do it, I would get through the concepts in 5 days. So your book or your videos in 5 days. I would get through the nonstop multiple choice in 5 days, and then I would review for 4 or 5 days, give or take. So concepts for 5 days, so concepts plus notes for 5 days, multiple choice plus notes for 5 days, and then review. And it's not ideal. It can be done. And then any tips, tricks to focus on? I mean, obviously you need to focus on everything, but that's the generic cop-out answer. If you're going to do like one last review, like a couple hours before your exam, I would hit individual tax, I would hit property transactions like like-kind exchanges, and then like a random business law topic like agency law. And I don't know, maybe it's because individual tax is obviously a really important topic on the CPA exam, kind of like partnership and corporate tax basis. Those are really important, so you know that. But an area that always tripped me up was like-kind exchanges, and I scored back-to-back 74s because I kind of refused to study it, and then I did study it, and then I scored a 92. And so, and that's with or without a liability swap. So, and then agency law, I don't know, it just always feels like every other business law question is about agency law. So anyway, hope that's helpful. There we go. Had some technical difficulties there. Going back to the form, college athlete to CPA says, anyone else put off the ethics test? I don't know what my problem is. I just need to do it as I've passed all my exams and I have my manager sign off for hours, but I still have anxiety, even though it's basically a take-home open book test. That's in all caps. I'm just so scared due to the CPA exams, even though this is a joke compared to those. I do not want to fail. Okay, so yeah, the ethics exam, it is open book, but here's the thing. It's a complete pain in the butt. And you have to score so how it works is you enter in all of your stuff and then you hit submit. And then you have to score a 90. And if you don't, it says, it's try number 1 of 3. Well, and it says you're at 86%. So you have to go through all of your questions one by one and okay, is this the one And so I got it after the second submission, thankfully. How I did it was I passed the CPA exam and then I spent it was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and no one was in the office, so go someplace completely boring like the office and just knock it out. And it'll probably take you about 4 hours. So just go do it. Go spend a Saturday or Sunday and knock it out. Marcus on Twitter. I was just thinking about my CPA journey and I completed 3 years ago. I wanted to give you a huge thank you for your forms and testing software, and I likely would have given up the journey if I hadn't come across your site. So thank you, Marcus. And it's obvious why I included this. If you want to guarantee that your question or comment makes it to the podcast, send me a compliment. That's a surefire way to get in. Lauren writes in, I'm struggling to stay motivated and study. I think I need to find a live CPA course to attend and study where I have to show up, even if online. I was let go from my job because they found someone to replace me who had the CPA, which you would think would be a huge motivator, but I'm struggling with the self-study. Not a fan of live courses because just logistically you have to get up, drive, walk in, wait for the instructor to show up, and then oftentimes they hit play on some video. And so I think really what you're looking for is accountability. And if you want accountability and some study buddies, go to the dojo study groups, and you can try it for free. Go to another71.com/free, and use the free trial of Ninja, and you can check out the dojo study group for free. You'll quickly figure out if the dojo is for you. The study groups have kind of taken on a life of their own. You can do private messaging in there, and it's I'm not even in control anymore. So, but yeah, it's pretty active in there. It's pretty cool. So yeah, try it out for free. Jarvis on Facebook, I need advice on how to attack taxation for corporations, partnerships, and trusts. Any suggestions? Well, tax for corporations, partnerships, and trusts are obviously areas that people kind of freak out about. And for good reason. It's tough material. But how you attack it is no different than how you would attack contracts or whatever. And so really what you're looking for, Jarvis, is the framework on how to attack the material. Go to another71.com/pass. So it's like that, but it's pass. And it will redirect to my framework on how to study step by step. It's the Ninja framework. Nail the concepts, intention notes, nonstop multiple choice questions. Just rewrite your notes, and then it all comes together. But it breaks down how to do that with your current study materials or with Ninja, or so your current study materials only, or with Ninja, or only, or Ninja plus your study materials, however you want to do it. But really, how you tackle corporate tax, partnership tax, trust tax is the same methodology for any other area. Joe Pixie on YouTube. I just signed up for Ninja Monthly, and upon cracking open the FAR book, I got like whiplashed into fear or never passing this test. I took a week to settle my mind, but I am terrified and I can't seem to start. The plus videos make me feel better, but I still don't know how to overcome the fear of failure. I believe in your study system, but I am so scared of spending the time and money on tests and never making it. I thought I'd share. Okay, so that's common. Like, people have this anxiety of failing the CPA exam, and and for good reason, because like 25% of the people who take the CPA exam pass the first time, and so a lot of people fail. So, and 50% of everyone walking into 50% of people walking into FAR are going to fail it. So, it's understandable why people have anxiety. But here's the thing: the only way to overcome anxiety is to actually build confidence. And the only way to build confidence is just to roll up your sleeves and get to work. So follow the L plan, early, lunch, late, and it just happens to be the first 3 letters of my last name. Isn't that convenient? Get up early. So get up an hour early and study for an hour. And then as you're driving to work, listen to the Ninja audio. You can knock out, if your commute's 30 minutes, you can knock out 30 minutes each way. That's an extra hour each day. Study at lunch for 45 minutes. So eat your sandwich or whatever at your desk for 15 minutes and then study for 45 minutes. You can stay an hour after work, do it, but a lot of people can't. You have to go pick up kiddos or whatever. So you might, if you don't have kids, then you can do that, but that's not feasible for everyone. And then study an hour at night. That's 4 hours a day. And do that like 5 or 6 days a week, and your anxiety will go like that. You'll be just fine. Going into the Dojo study group, and again, if you want to check out the study group for free, go to another71.com. Go to another71.com/free and check it out. Steven says, I studied for BEC for 2 weeks and I failed. How many weeks do you think I should study for the retake? Well, typically I recommend 4 or 5 weeks for BEC, 5 or 6 weeks. And so 2 weeks sounds pretty light, like unless you're just like pedal to the metal. And so, and you scored a 69. So 2 weeks is too short. Aim for 5 weeks. And I think the conceptually what you're asking is, can I take a shortcut? And the answer is no. You need to redo everything that you did to get that score, plus hit your weak areas more. Plus, so you're a Ninja Monthly member. If you didn't rewrite the Ninja notes the first time, it doesn't say if you did or not. Make sure you do. And I would study at least 5 weeks for BEC. So I tell people that BEC is like the honey badger. BEC just don't care. And people walk in and they stumble out. They think, okay, economics, I got it. Cost accounting, I got it. IT, how hard can that be? And they're just shocked that BEC is as hard as it is. And so don't take BEC for granted. And so Casey York and Laura, it's like all my real life Facebook friends are online, all 4 of them. I only have 4 friends in real life. And question is, what about reg? Can you be a little bit more specific? And I'm gonna hit the next question. Elena says, she's taking FAR. How are you incorporating the task-based simulation practice into the nonstop MCQs? I sit for FAR in August. I want to make good use of my 16 study days remaining. I read the chapters, looked at the notes, and I'll be copying notes this weekend. I'm trending at a 62, which is much better than 2 weeks ago, but I'm getting nervous about the TBS component. All right, let's back up. You need to get that 62 trending into like into the 80s. So and that's ignoring the TBS component. So for FAR, you know what your weak area is. Like governmental accounting, not-for-profit accounting, it's something. Bonds, like you know what your weak point is and like what keeps you awake at night, so to speak. So you really have to get that trending up into like the 80s. And then, so how do you tackle the sims? Different people have different takes on simulations. I am not a fan of doing it, but I'm old and entrenched in my ways, but I try to be a little bit flexible here. So I used to say like 80-20, and now I'm more like 70-30 MCQ to sims. And even though it's like 50-50 on the exam, I get it. But I would do the sims during your the A that all comes together phase, and that's what I would do the sims. If you have some extra time in the nonstop MCQ phase, that's fine. But I would, so in your final review phase, maybe spend like a long Sunday afternoon just it's like 4 days out from your exam, just hitting your simulations. That's what I would do. So like, don't ignore it, but I also don't think you should like majorly focus on it. I'm scrolling. Hey, Lisa. Okay, how many weeks should I budget for regulation? Okay, how many weeks should I budget for, this is on Facebook Live, how many weeks should I budget for regulation using Wiley and Ninja? Reg is scaring the crap out of me. The details are insane. Okay, regulation should not scare you that bad, because while the tax law, yeah, it's the tax law, and it's very detailed, reg is surprisingly conceptual. And so, like, I personally walked into regulation only having the Section 179 threshold and deduction amount memorized, and I scored a 92. And of course, that's not because I'm smart or anything. Like, I scored back-to-back 74s, and so clearly. But I just say that because like I didn't have like all of the AGI phase outs memorized or anything close. Really, what I did was I hit the areas that I refused to study, like AMT. Like, who wants to study AMT? And light count exchanges, like, it's the worst ever. But I forced myself to study them. And so, don't memorize certain stuff. Don't drill down too far. Like, regulation is surprisingly conceptual. So I hope that alleviates some of your fears. And she says, also, your beard is pointy now. Nice, thank you. Lisa says, I'm worried about the writing component of BEC. How do we navigate this area? I'm terrible at writing in the sense that I never know how to write. Okay, so for the BEC written communication component, like, you really have to, well, there's two ways to do it. If you know the topic, so if they ask about price elasticity of demand, and so, okay, I remember price elasticity of demand, and basically just barf out as many keywords as you can, because it's computer graded. Unless your test sends off alerts and the NSA gets involved, and they have a human grade your exam, it's going to be computer graded. And so they are looking for certain keywords, and they're looking for misspellings and grammar mistakes. So keywords, misspellings, grammar mistakes, focus on those. Get a nice little outline going, just 3 or 4, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs, and call it a day. I think you're fine. Inside of Ninja MCQ, you can practice your written communications as well. Hi, Lori. Okay, it's like a high school reunion. Scott says, I am just discouraged. My exam is in 1 week, and I've been trending at 67 to 70% in the MCQ for the past few days without much improvement. I will improve in one area and fall down in another. I freaking hate this exam, and I'm ready to be done. I'm exhausted from staying up so late and literally do not know where to begin getting over the 75% hump. I've been trying to answer lots of new questions, so I'm not memorizing answers, but I'm just pounding just pounding MCQ is not the best way for me to learn. Anyone else get stuck and not feel like you're improving just doing more and more MCQ? I do take notes on the questions I miss. At this point, there's just so much I need to review or revisit. I don't know what to do. Moving my exam is not an option. I just don't know how people can master all this material. So Scout is taken far, and someone once said, it might have been me, it probably wasn't, it feels like I said it, that FAR is a mile wide and an inch deep, okay? So you have to know a little about a lot of stuff, and people who drill down too far and like get too much in the weeds, I mean, you can't study bonds for 4 weeks and then, punt on governmental accounting and not-for-profit. And so, in your case, as you miss questions, write down the little fact nugget. And it's one thing to take notes. It's another thing to actually rewrite your notes and kind of let them marinate in your brain. And I have yet to come across someone who said, hey Jeff, I took your advice and I rewrote my notes. Worst thing I ever did. So no one has ever said that. In fact, people are like, thank you. You told me to rewrite my notes. I didn't want to. My coworker said I was dumb. I did it. I just want to thank you. So if you're struggling, make sure that again, it's one thing to take notes. It's another thing to actually study those notes and let your brain absorb them. And hey, everyone hates FAR, so don't be discouraged, Scott. You'll be all right. Going back to Facebook Live, what section do you recommend taking after sitting for auditing? Well, at the end of since we're in 2018, I would say regulation because of the tax law change. But just in a vacuum, I would say FAR, just because you want your 18-month clock to start. Well, I guess if you pass auditing, your 18-month clock is clicking anyway. But I would say FAR because there's a natural correlation between auditing and FAR for obvious reasons. Sticking with Facebook Live, Jessica Marie says, I found that Bob's videos, I'm talking about Bob and Net, help me so much. They're a bit out of date, but it's amazing to understand what the terms in bond accounting means. I only have FAR left. Hopefully this is the last CPA exam I will ever take. Thank you. Yeah, Bob's videos are really good, and so I'm still trying to figure out how to keep them going. And so as more and more pronouncements get passed, that's more and more difficult. But as long as people still like them, I will keep offering them. So thanks, Jessica. Thanks for watching. And I hope this is your last exam and the last podcast you ever listen to. Stephanie says, hi Jeff, I signed up for Ninja. I would really appreciate some guidance. I'll try not to rattle your head with too much information. Bottom line, I work full-time plus 5 kids. I know what your house sounds like. I passed regulation in FAR. Clearly I didn't dedicate the right amount of study time for auditing. I failed a few times by a few points. Last year I failed BEC before they changed the exam. So now it comes down to this. I have to pass BEC and auditing both by early September or regulation falls off, and let's assume I don't know anything about BEC. And so it goes on, please help me how to break down my best route at this point. Okay, so basically you have like 4 weeks to take 2 exams. It's not ideal. You're not gonna read this as a best practice anywhere. BEC, 5 days in the concepts, 5 days in the MCQ, and 4 days as a final review. Same for auditing. And so if you're watching the videos, if you're reading the book, like you have to get through it in 5 days. Doesn't matter where you are, we're done, 5 days. MCQ, 5 days. I'd spend the first 3 days just drilling down into the topics one by one, and then after that, well, I guess, so yeah, 5 days MCQ, like take notes quickly over your fact nuggets. Then in your final review, like whatever your weakest topic is, start with your weakest topic and work backwards. And so that's a super quick, so it's essentially taking the Ninja Study Framework and just condensing it into 2 weeks. So a 5-week program into 2 weeks. I mean, there's no Netflix, there's no Facebook, there's no Saturday afternoon nap. Like, you were going to hate life for 4 weeks straight, and then hopefully you'll be done. Jessica says, thank you, Jeff. You're welcome. James on Facebook Live, been out of grad school since 2012, have an MS in accounting. Go Liberty U. Where should I start relearning accounting? What materials of yours should I start this journey with? I don't think you have to relearn accounting. I've often said, and I had another CPA review instructor scold me, how dare I? If you know the difference between a debit and a credit, you should be able to take your study materials and pass the CPA exam. Because the CPA exam, yes, it's a test about accounting stuff, but all of your materials, like, you should be able to just learn it from there. So that's why people who, I mean, the average age of a CPA candidate is 29. It's like that's the mean age. I think the median age is a little bit less than that. But so your average age of a CPA candidate is 29. So you graduate from college when you're 24 because you're on the 6-year plan like me. That's like 5 years out of college. And so people that don't have an accounting background, like they were an economics major and then they got their credits or whatever, I think you'll be just fine. Just jump in to the Ninja materials, Ninja book, and I think you'll be just fine. Hope that thoroughly answered your question. And another question, why do I feel like Ninja's reg notes are so much less than what Wiley wants me to remember? That scares me. Right now I'm watching all the Wiley videos and then read your notes, then attempt to do the MCQs in Wiley, which I've been 40 to 100%, and I sit down with the Sims and I choke. Well, the Ninja notes are like a 30,000 foot view. If you want the 10,000 foot view, that's on par with your Wiley materials. That's the Ninja book. Like the Ninja notes are like, they're not all inclusive, but everything in the notes are definitely going to be on your exam. So I hope that's helpful. All right. We'll wrap it up here. Karina says, hey, Jeff, do you think it's possible and reasonable to try and pass the FAR exam in 6 weeks, studying 30 hours a week? I'm worried that I may be overestimating how quickly I can get through the material and could really use some feedback. Yes, you can pass in 6 weeks. 30 hours a week is amazing. This is for FAR. I would dial it back to 25 hours a week over 6 weeks. You try to do 30 hours a week and work full-time. It doesn't say if you're working full-time, you're going to die. Let's dial it back a little bit. Study for whatever the math is on 6 times 25. Anyone know? 140? 150? And yeah, so dial it back 6 weeks at 25 hours a week, because 6 weeks over 6 weeks over 30 hours a week, I don't think you're going to last. So, but I think you'll be just fine. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you if you are listening after the fact. Thank you for tuning in as well. As always, you can go to another71.com and click in the upper nav, Ask Jeff, and appear on the podcast. If you want to compliment me on Twitter, you'll probably get on the show. Shoot me a message on Facebook. You can go to another71.com/Facebook. Got 48,000 of you on there. And so I always appreciate the likes and the love. And I respond to my inbox, unless I forget. And if you want some free study materials, I usually don't forget. You can go to another71.com/free, and you'll get free sections on the Ninja book, Ninja MCQ trial, Ninja Notes demo, Ninja audio, and some free access to the dojo. I think it's like three days access to the dojo message boards, and I think you'll like it or love it. And thank you, John. And And can you give me an Amazon gift card? Maybe. Tune in next time. All right. Thank you, everyone. Be good. Take care. And I will talk to you soon.